Hey guys, this is Justin back with an engineer's perspective, and today we're doing a review of this guy, the Spyderco Waterway. So this is a fixed blade knife in their Salt series. It's full tang with these really nice G10 handles. There's no like pins or anything. That's really slick. I like that. It's designed by a fisherman, a kayak fisherman named Lance Clinton, who also designed the Siren, the folding version of this knife, basically. And he says he didn't design it as a fisherman's knife, more as an everyday utility blade. And I think that it really hits that pretty well. Has some really nice strengths for that role, but it doesn't quite hit the thing that I bought it for. So we'll get to that. But the first thing we're going to talk about is the geometry on this guy. That's where I like to start. So it's roughly 21 thousandths on average, thicker at the tip, thinner in the middle. And that's at like 16 degrees per side or so, maybe 17. So it's pretty thick. It's even thicker than like a paramilitary too. So it's pretty thick geometry, not grossly thick, but pretty thick. I don't know what the spine thickness is on here. Let's go right at the back here. It's 110 thousandths spine thickness, so not too terribly thick stock there, but less than 1/8 of an inch. So the stock thickness is pretty good. It's got that full flat grind. So cutting through man-made materials, it's just like okay, you know, not really great. Yeah, it's just okay on the thicker, more robust side for sure. So this is more of a, like I said, like outdoor utility blade. If you were around camp and you might use it to do some feather sticks or even baton through something, it's pretty good for that. So I bought this as a hunting knife. I was hoping to use it as like a general camp knife, but also for hunting and then also fishing. And I knew that this wasn't really my speed for hunting, but I just wanted a knife in LC200N. And pretty much the geometry on this guy is just too darn thick for me. So I've got some competitive options in terms of geometry here. So here's a Benchmade Steep Country. This is the new one. This one is 14 to 15 thousandths behind the edge at 17 degrees per side. And night and day between this knife and this knife. Mostly, I haven't gotten this on a deer yet, but on winged animals, so ducks, geese, and a lot of chickens. I use these to butcher chickens sometimes. And this is night and day better than this. Moreover, if you're thinking of using this as a hunting knife on either birds or like deer, I think you're going to be better served by this. Or if you're looking for more of like a boning knife, then you've got options like this. So this is just a 6-inch curved Victorinox boning knife, 8 thousandths behind the edge, night and day better than either of these in cutting performance, but you're going to need a steel to keep it sharp. And then this is a Tojiro DP Hanasuke 150 millimeter, and it's single edge, so it's flat there, and then they got the edge there. And this, though, is 20 thousandths at the heel, 23 thousandths at the heel, and it's like 19 thousandths up here. With that single edge, this is the best cutter out of all of these if you're doing birds. So if you're thinking of using it for that role like I was, it doesn't do it. It's not good for it. Don't even buy it. But as a utility blade, that's where I think it really excels, and then we'll get into the steel. So this has LC200N. It is it's not stainless, it's, rust proof, basically. And I've kept this one. I keep it in my shower. You can even see some like the scale buildup, that's what that is on the sheath there, and in the handles. That's why they're not black, why they're kind of grayish, because they're just full of calcium carbonate and whatnot from the water. It doesn't rust. It just does not rust, guys. You don't have to worry about that. The the way it will work out is, let's say you sharpen it to like hair whittling sharpness. If you let it sit in water, excuse me, I keep burping here. If you let it sit in water, the way stainless steels work is they develop a corrosion inhibiting layer, a passive layer is what it's called. And basically that layer of chromium oxide forms on top of this edge. And because of that, it'll deteriorate slightly and you'll lose some of that sharpness. But that's pretty much it. That's what happens when you leave this thing in water. You just lose a little bit of sharpness, but it drops back pretty good. So completely rust proof. Spyderco seems to be hardening these between like 59-ish Rockwell, 59, 60 Rockwell, probably more towards 59. And it, in some ways, it feels like S30V in the front end sharpness, but it doesn't, it breaks down like a carbon steel where it just kind of blunts over, because this is very, very low carbide. It's like 4.5% chromium nitride. So I guess it has no carbides, it's nitrides because it's a nitrogen steel. So it basically holds its edge on hardness. So if you're gonna get LC200N, it's gotta be hard. These nitrogen steels are kind of capped at their hardness because nitrogen doesn't contribute to the hardness as much as carbon will. So it's pretty much capped at like 59, 60 Rockwell, unless you get really fancy with it. Maybe you can get in the upper 60s. But Spyderco seems to do a good job with it for what they can do. So it performs pretty well. Similar to S30V, but it won't hold that same working edge. But that fine edge is going to be similar. What else? Oh, this stuff has the awesomest grain structure ever. It's so fine and has very low carbide or nitride volume, so it's very, very tough. Super tough stuff, super fine grain structure. This is the best sharpening stainless steel you can buy that I've come across, with ABL being the next best. But this stuff basically sharpens like a carbon steel. Like, it's very low nitride carbide content, makes it, you know, basically like a carbon steel, and that very fine grain structure. So it's very tough, which makes it good for this kind of utility blade. And it's very easy to sharpen, which in my opinion makes it a very good utility blade, because then I'm not afraid if I hit a rock or drag it through dirt and sand. Like, you can sharpen this up just like that. It's awesome. So that's my favorite thing about LC200N, is how well it sharpens. For sure. Okay, so that's the steel. So I covered geometry. It's a little bit more robust. Covered the steel. It's very stain proof. It's tough. Sharpens amazing. And next is, let's talk about the comfortability here in the handle. So it's pretty thin. It's contoured, if you can see that. So it's got a nice little swell in the middle there, a little over 1/2 inch thick. And it feels thinnish in the hand, but no hot spots. No hot spots on here. They've got this really nice guard for if you are getting up on fish, you don't have to worry about slipping. This checkering it comes with from the factory is wildly aggressive, and I do not fault Spyderco for that at all. They're on the record, Lance as well, who designed the knife, as being, you can always sand this down, which is what I've done, but you can't make it more aggressive. Does that make sense? So it comes assuming you're going to be using this in the water, bloody, wet hands. But you just run some sandpaper over that, knock it down, and get it to the aggression you like. So I've done that. I've used this in the shower to cut open the shampoo bottle and get the last little bit out, and I have no problem gripping this knife. And in terms of exerting force, I've done some feather sticking with it and things like that. Some small batoning of just like 2x4s. See if I can embarrass myself here behind this camera with this tiny piece of 2x4. You know, it's a very comfortable handle. It's thin, but it's comfortable. It doesn't dig. It's a teeny bit long for my preference. It's got a lot of extra there, but it's very comfortable. So I think they have the most comfortable for this size they can do. I think they've really nailed a nice spot there. The fit is very good. It's really good, guys, on the back here. So it's very comfortable handle. The spine is not rounded, but you just take some sandpaper or a sharpening stone and chamfer that a touch. I will stick my finger up here when I'm using it from time to time, or I'll stick this one down here and this one up there to kind of get a little more accurate. Really comfortable handle. Carry-wise, it comes with this sheath. It's not Kydex, but similar. You can kind of see the thickness there. It's pretty thick, robust stuff. There you go. Really positive retention. It won't fall out. And you can just push off with your thumb, which is really nice, or pull it, of course. It comes with this clip. I forget what it's called. But it's a really good sheath. Mine does rattle a little bit. I have heard reports of ones that do not rattle. So, you know, it may rattle a bit, it may not. That doesn't really bother me specifically. I think the clip, I'm conflicted, because here's one thing that I really like about this package is I think the clip is good because it's versatile. When Lance designed this knife, he wanted to be able to clip it onto his like board shorts, you know, for when he's out on the kayak, and he's nailed that. This clip you can clip to your sweatpants, your shorts, you can slip a belt loop through there, anything you can clip it to. And this is the beauty of it, is the whole package is pretty light. 6.2 ounces with the sheath, no sheath, 4.3 ounces for this much steel that's robust like this. It's actually a really nice carry on my sweatpants. Like if I wanted to carry this around on a loungy day, it's pretty nice. Of course, the handle's very long, but it's a really nice carrying package, and this clip lets you carry it on anything you want, and it's very secure. So really great sheath, I think. It's easy to get in and out. It's very secure. It's high quality and robust. Great clip. It's a little bit hard to get off of things, but you know, I'd rather have that than the reverse. It's a really great setup here. So yeah, comfortable handle, great sheath. Overall, what do I think of this? You know, I didn't even do this size dimensions of this thing. So for those that are interested at this point, 4-inch blade, or sorry, 4 inches of cutting edge. So 4 inches to here with about 4.5 inches of blade reach. And a 5-inch long handle that appears to be about 1 inch tall. And I already showed you the thickness. Overall, it's a great utility blade, and that's what it is. I've only brought it fishing once, and it was nice cutting up worms and minnows. We only caught little fish, so I didn't keep any to try it out as a fillet knife. But yeah, it's more of an outdoor utility knife, or like, let's say you want like a work knife, you know, you're like, hey, I'm gonna reshingle my roof. This is a good knife to bring up there for that, because it's tough but light, comfortable, zero maintenance in terms of stain resistance, and very easy to resharpen on anything. And it holds a good edge with that hardness. It's very tough. So it's a great knife for that purpose. What it is not a great knife for is animal processing of any variety. Will it do the task? Yes, it will. But this will blow this one away, hands down, and both of these will blow either of these away completely. So that's what it is not good for. But what Lance Clinton designed this for, which is a utility blade, which could be pushed into animal work, but it's not that enjoyable, it really does that well. And that's what the geometry is set up for. The steel is great and works into that really good. Comfortable handle, great sheath. It's a really good knife for that. So go pick one up if you'd like. I think about $150. Really awesome, well executed blade. So good job, Spyderco and Lance. Love it. All right. Thank you everybody for watching. Have a good one. Bye.